Hi guys, that's what I've been seeing from my window for the past 2 weeks. But not anymore. Today, as you can see, is a good day. It's a nice sunny day. So I've decided to catch you up on what has been going on in my life. In this video, I give you 6 little pieces of news from Pichaska. Okay, let's start with number 1. I was sick, but I'm not sick anymore. I had a bad cold and it had been dragging for like 2 weeks. Basically, I lost my voice. I wanted to go and see the doctor, but it's not so easy in the countryside. All the volunteers from my program are secured with this insurance company called Seguro Viaje. So the closest hospitals they have an agreement with is in La Serena. And the closest hospital they don't have an agreement with is in Ovalle, which is about an hour drive away. I wasn't feeling so well and I just didn't have the energy to go and see that doctor. So I ended up going to the local Pichaska clinic 3 times. I've been given a lot of paracetamol and 2 anti-inflammatory injections by local paramedics. And it helped in the long run, but I missed about a week of school. The good news is it was for free. And another thing, when the volunteer center asked me for my medical certificate, because we are supposed, like, if we miss more than a day of work, we need a medical certificate. So the guys from the clinic just gave it to me for as many days as I wanted. So that was nice too. But I wasn't feeling well and I just couldn't make any videos at that time. But then I get better and I was planning to go to school on Thursday. It was May 11, but then it turned out that all the lessons on Thursday and Friday were cancelled because of the upcoming rains. And I was like, what? You cancel lessons because of the rain? It just doesn't make sense. And that's my piece of news number 2. So yeah, the rains. It started raining on Wednesday night and it had been raining for 3 days. I like rains and I enjoy not having to work, seriously. But that time, I think for the first time in my life, I really wanted to go to work. Because on Thursday afternoon, there was a blackout and the electricity went off. And then on Friday morning, we woke up to no water. Because apparently the water is powered by water pumps, and when there is no electricity, the water doesn't work. And then I still had some charge on my phone and on my laptop, but all mobile networks were down too. So I couldn't contact anyone and I couldn't check the forecast, and we were basically isolated. And then no one could come and fix this, because what happens here is that Coquimbo is a dry region. It doesn't rain so often and the infrastructure is not prepared for these amounts of water. So what happens is that when it rains, roads become unpassable because of the mountain streams, and they call them the quebradas. So basically you cannot cross the quebrada because it's like a river in the middle of the road. Okay, we have a river here and the river moved, so basically it was in one place where the bridge was and it just moved like 20 meters away where there was no bridge, and people were trapped on the other side of the river, so they couldn't go anywhere and the repair people couldn't come. So for 3 days we lived without electricity and without water, and it was fucking horrible. It was like a real emergency situation, all because of the rain. And it wasn't even raining so badly. It wasn't like a typhoon. It was just heavy rain, but nothing special. So yeah, the power came back on Saturday night and the water came back on Sunday. And on Monday the school opened. But my head teacher, Marianella, couldn't come because she was on the other side of the river and she couldn't cross because there was no bridge. And not many kids showed up too, because a lot of them were isolated just like my teacher. So yeah, that week, last week, was very slow. I only had like 50% of my classes. And then on Thursday it rained again, so there were no classes on Thursday at all. So it was a very lazy week. And then the internet, I mean, networks, my network. Okay, I have one operator on my phone and it's WOM, and another one Entel in my internet dongle. So Entel was down till the end of that week. So I didn't have any internet either. And yeah, that was tough. Okay, anyways, at that time I saw my first venomous spider and it jumped out of my sweatpants when I was pulling them on. But at the time, I mean, I did my research and I knew there was one type of venomous spider here. It's called Araña de Rincón, and it's a type of recluse spider. And I kinda imagined what it looked like, but since I didn't have the internet, I couldn't check. And then I tried to take a photo of it, but my phone didn't save it for some reason. As it turned out later, it did save it, but because there were no networks and I turned off my phone to save the battery, so my time and my date were wrong. So it saved it like the photo was dated 2015 and I couldn't see it because it was like in the past. So yeah, it was Araña de Rincón, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't kill it because I don't want to kill spiders that are non-venomous. But then after that I saw it again in the shower, and it was later, it was on the weekend, and when grandma's family was visiting. I snapped a picture of it again and I showed it to my cousin and I asked him like, look, is it the Araña de Rincón? And he's like, yeah, you need to kill it. So he just went and murderized it. And then after that I decided to look it up again, and English Wikipedia page was really concerning because it said that basically there is no antidote for the venom. So there is some like research being done in Brazil and in Peru, but it said that no controlled trials have been reported and that the practice was controversial. And I was like, fuck, But then I looked it up in Spanish, and Chilean news site said that yes, there is antidote and it's available throughout the country, and it's like stored like in a facility, but if there is a case of a bite, they can send it by emergency post right away. But I'm not really sure what to believe, so maybe I should be more careful in the future with Arañas de Rincón. So yeah, and then on Friday night, grandma's granddaughter invited me to an asado, and people have been asking me what kind of food they eat in Chile. And the thing is, I'm not an expert. I don't know about it, not really, because I've been mostly eating at home. So I only know what the grandma cooks, and I'm not sure if it's an accurate representation of the local cuisine. So maybe I won't make that video right away because I need to gather some more information, but I can tell you about asados. It seems to be very popular. And asado means barbecue. It's not just a meal, it's like a pastime. Usually it lasts for hours, it can last for a day. Yeah, you invite a lot of people. And first you make the fire in the grill because they use coal grills, charcoal grills. So Chileans don't cook over open fire, they cook over smoldering coals. So they wait until the coals are ready and then they start grilling things. And usually what I've noticed so far, first they make the bread, they just grill the bread, and it's really cool. And then they start grilling the meats. Yeah, usually there's many different kinds of meat, like goat, sausages, intestines, and like all sorts of meat. It goes on for a very long time till very late. So yeah, we started at 6 and I went to bed after midnight and they're still hanging out. And then next morning we had like asado for lunch. And then we came back to grandma's house. I had another asado for dinner. And then the next day we had another asado for lunch. So that was a very good weekend. I ate a lot of meat. I was happy. And I spoke a lot of Spanish. So yeah, it seems like my Spanish is improving slowly. My grammar is still awful. And then on Monday, I went to an English meeting network. That's a great idea, I think, because it's like a meeting of all English teachers of the region or of the commune. And since there are no other English teachers in my commune but my head teacher and myself, we belong to the Hawaii English network. And there were 3 volunteers at the meeting and about like 10 to 15 English teachers. And I think it's an initiative. Like they don't have to do it, they just do it because they really want to meet other people and they want to discuss things. It was the first meeting and there were a lot of organizational questions, like who's gonna be the chair and like when are we going to meet and where, and then who's gonna take the minutes and stuff like that, who's gonna be in charge of what. So it was like I don't think we have these kind of meetings in my country. Usually, like, everything is dictated from the above, you know, like you need to meet, you know, on that and that date, and you need to discuss those questions, and like you have to. It's only for volunteers, but you have to do it. It's fucking compulsory. So yeah, it's not like that. And the first meeting will be a party. There'll be another asado with the teachers. And at first I told them that I couldn't go because it's on Friday night and the last bus to Pichaska leaves Hawaii at 8 p.m. So I cannot stay late. And then a teacher just said, yeah, sure, you can crash at my house. And that was very nice. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm really looking forward to that asado. I want to spend more time with teachers and I think it's gonna be cool. Alright, and the last piece of news is something that I'm really excited about. I bought an electric blanket. And well, it's not really a blanket. I mean, I think it's called an electric blanket, but it's like an electric mattress pad, because when I read the instruction, it turned out that it goes over your mattress and under your first blanket, so you don't cover yourself with it, you lie on it. Last couple of weeks have been very cold because when it was raining, it wasn't so hot. It was like plus 16, plus 15, and after the rain, the snow fell in the mountains, and then the snow fell in the hills around my village. And I remind you that these houses don't have any heating system, and no gas heaters, no electric heaters, nothing, and the insulation is very poor too. And it was freezing cold, especially at night. I was wearing my winter coat in the house and I was sleeping in all of my warm clothes. It had become a big issue for me. When I went to Hawaii and I had an idea about buying a heater but I wasn't sure about it, just wanted to see what they had, and I saw an electric blanket that was on sale. So I saved up like 60%, I think. The initial price was $30,000 and I bought it for $13. It's about $20 and it's so good, seriously. At night I sleep like a baby. It's so cozy. I'm very happy with that, and I wonder if they have those in Vietnam, because definitely it's a great purchase. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to use it if you're a man, because you know, you need to keep the guys cold. Yeah, but for me it's great, so I'm really enjoying it. Like last couple of days, they've been awesome. If you're living somewhere where people don't know how to insulate houses for winter, that's my recommendation for you. Buy a fucking electric blanket. It's awesome. Seriously, I haven't found any downsides yet. It's just been 3 days of pure joy. Also, I've been thinking that winter is coming here, because in Southern Hemisphere winter starts in June, I think. This year I won't be seeing summer because I left Vietnam in February and I spent 2 months in Minsk, February and March, and then I left for Chile, and yeah, I came in autumn, and now it's winter again. For the first time in the past 2 months, I felt really warm, and it's a great sensation. And people don't need much to be happy today. So that's it. So these are my 6 little pieces of news from Pinchaska. I wrote down all of your ideas, and thanks for your suggestions, guys. I will try to make all the videos that you have requested because they are great topics and I really want to talk about all of them. And if you have any other suggestions, or if you have any commentary, please leave me a comment. I really appreciate you watching my videos, and I miss you all. So I will see you all soon in another video. Bye.